Hey, welcome to Screenplay Junkie. My name's Drew Hellmich, and I'm a screenwriter. Film is a pretty sweet medium of art. However, before anything can make it to the big screen, it must start as a blueprint, text on paper. So if you're a fellow addict of film and storytelling, come join us as we take a look at various types of screenplays, short stories, and other source material that were crucial to the creation of the stories that we all love. I must warn you, though, there will be spoilers, so I do recommend being familiar with the title that's being discussed. Sound good? Cool. Then let's get started. Welcome, fellow story addicts, to episode number 22 of Screenplay Junkie. Drew, Matt, and Bryan here. Matt, I think you had a question you wanted to ask at the beginning of the show?
I want to ask you guys, what would you do if you found a briefcase full of money? What would you do?
So we're aware that money's in it.
Yeah, you find it, you crack open the briefcase somehow, and it's just full of money. What is the first thing you're doing?
I'd probably go to the casino.
And putting it on blue. Oh, Drew, we're going to the same spot, huh?
So you're going to bet it at the casino, or are you going to do like what they did in Hell or High Water, and you just like get the money on chips, and then you put the chips back just to get the money back, to like launder the money? What's your angle?
I don't know. I'd probably just burn it.
I'm thinking more of like a Randy.
You're just like the Joker. You're just going to burn all your money. What'd you say, Bryan?
I said like a Randy from South Park, where you guys seen that episode? He like wins the town back, but he's like, I'm feeling lucky, and then he loses it all.
I'd probably just dig a hole in my backyard and like just put most of it there, like find a safe place in my house, stash it, and then you just slowly take out dollar bills whenever you need something.
I was going more, when I said I wanted to burn it, I was going more of a route of Triple Frontier, where those guys just started burning money.
We're going to give it all to Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. If you find a case of money, just give it to Ben Affleck's family.
I also got a question. Who do you guys think is dumber, Harry or Lloyd?
Oh.
Jeez.
Probably Lloyd.
I'd give it to Lloyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Doesn't know how to read.
Well, and they gave Harry a gun. Like, they trusted Harry with a weapon.
Yeah.
So, like, Lloyd, could you imagine him having a gun, waving it around? No way.
I was just trying to imagine, like, having one of these guys, like, in my class, like, in one of my classes or something, as a kid growing up.
Oh,
like, not even, like, college or anything, just as a child. I was trying to figure out, like, what kind of goofiness they would commit during a class.
They'd probably be in, like, the special class, so you don't want to be in that class.
Well,
they're moving at a slower pace than everyone else. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So Dumb and Dumber is definitely a movie that people either love or they hate, right? And we're all obviously on the love side, but as I was bringing up earlier, our grandfather, he hated Jim Carrey, right? He couldn't stand him. He would not watch this movie, and that's just how some people feel.
No, I got some friends that, because I was really big on this movie. I mean, I still am, but I remember specifically, like in high school, I tried to get some of my friends to watch this, and we would watch it, or maybe they had watched it previously, and they'd just be like, dude, like, I hate this movie. I can't stand it. Like, I don't think it's funny. It's just so stupid. And my retort is always, well, I mean, just that's the point. I mean, it's called Dumb and Dumber. Like, they're supposed to be stupid as hell.
Yeah, you're laughing at how dumb they are.
Yeah. Okay, script info. Easing right into this one. Dumb and Dumber, written by Peter and Bob Farrelly, and the other credit goes to Bennett Yellen. No idea who that guy is, but he contributed to this.
Another brothers.
Yeah, brothers, right, exactly.
It's real cool to be like looking at directors and writers that are brothers. Sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at us, directors and writers.
Script date is, there's no specified script date, but we're going to guesstimate around 1994, 1993, basically around when this movie came out. And it comes out to 103 pages. We want to do the IMDb stuff now?
Yeah, cool. So they released the movie on December 16th, 1994. It's received pretty well. It's got a really good rating on IMDb, 7.3 out of 10 by fans. I'll read the logline now. The cross-country adventures of two good-hearted but incredibly stupid friends. That's it. It's just one sentence. It's so short.
That's it. Okay.
It's like what I love. I got to say this though. On the movie poster, it says, for Harry and Lloyd, every day is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I love that. I love that tagline. It's great.
Oh, it's so funny.
It is.
So this movie was directed by brothers Peter Farrelly and Bobby Farrelly. It was written by Peter, and then another guy named Bennett Yellen is credited here.
Cool.
So starring in this movie is Jim Carrey as Lloyd, Jeff Daniels plays Harry, Lauren Holly plays Mary, and she's actually married to Jim Carrey in real life, or she was during the filming of the movie.
Yeah, I think at one point they got married, I think.
They weren't even married for a year. All right, so Mike Starr played Joe Mental. Karen Duffy was J.P. Shea. Charles Rocket, rest in peace, was Nicholas Andre. That's it. Cam Neely is Seabass. And Brian, you said he was a professional hockey player?
Yeah, he was a professional hockey player. I don't know exactly what team, but
He definitely was just there to fight people.
yeah.
I can't see that guy like skating well. Like Patrick Kane, are you kidding me? Like no.
Yeah, don't throw salt at him.
Yeah, it's looking like he played for the Vancouver Canucks. He was a right wing.
Oh, okay, wow.
1983 to 1996.
Just a bruiser.
Dude, yeah,
Let's see here. So they made this movie for $16 million, estimated $16 million, and I had $14 million on another site, so somewhere in that range. So it's cheap. And it's grossed worldwide $247 million.
Woo.
Worldwide. Wow. All right, cool. So do you guys want to get into the trivia on this one? There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm ready for
sweet. So let's talk about which other actors could have played Harry and Lloyd.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm ready to hear this one.
Steve Martin and Martin Short turned down Lloyd. They didn't want to do it. Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers turned down Lloyd.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage and Gary Oldman were supposed to be Harry and Lloyd, in that
Nick
order.
Cage.
No.
Like that was casted, like that was set in stone, and then they were like, okay, wait, maybe no. Rob Lowe was supposed to take Harry's role too at one point, didn't do it. And then eventually they got to Jim Carrey, and then Jim Carrey, he fought so hard to have Jeff Daniels in the movie to play Harry, and it worked out. But I'll get there in a minute. This is the first film done by the Farrelly brothers. Other movies they've done that you probably know are Stuck on You, There's Something About Mary, Fever Pitch, Kingpin, Hall Pass, Osmosis Jones, and then Green Book, which just won an Oscar.
Oh, so that one they definitely strayed away from the comedy with that movie for sure.
With Green Book?
Yeah.
I know, it's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a funny movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
But yeah, dramatic as well. So let's see. Let's talk about the script, right? So the original script for Dumb and Dumber was actually written by John Hughes, the guy who did The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What the hell, right?
He's not even credited on here at all.
I know. It's because it became very different. Like it was just like a very base structure, I think, that they took, and then the Farrelly brothers and the other writer created what we see and what we read.
Okay.
But isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That is pretty weird. Wow.
It doesn't have any similarities to Ferris Bueller's Day Off or like a movie like that to me at all. So when they brought in this Bennett Yellen guy, the Farrelly brothers, to rewrite this script, apparently the investors, when they gave it to them right away, they hated it. So when they revised it and gave it back, they had to give it to them under a different title. So they gave it to him under the title, A Power Tool is Not a Toy.
Oh, that's a horrible.
Instead of calling it Dumb and Dumber.
That's a terrible title.
Yeah, but they read it and then they liked it, though.
Okay.
So, according to the Farrelly brothers, Jeff Daniels wasn't wanted for the film. They didn't want him to be in it. They wanted Jim Carrey, and they wanted another comedian to play Harry, right?
Yeah.
So, in order to make sure that Jeff Daniels wouldn't accept the role, they offered him only $50,000 to do it. But he accepted it. And it turned out to be really good.
So he only made $50,000?
And Jim Carrey made $7 million.
Oh, my God.
And the budget was 16.
Yeah. And
half of it was...
It went right to Jim Carrey's pocket. Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Getting paid $50,000 to be in a movie is still a very good wage. But compared to a $7 million to your co-star, that's insulting.
Yeah, I mean, on set, did they have problems because of that? Probably not, but that'd be frustrating.
Yeah.
This was Jim Carrey's hot era too. This is the time for The Mask, Ace Ventura. It's people were this dude's funny.
Right. I mean, Jim Carrey He was actually only offered originally $700,000 to star in the movie, but because of the success of The Mask and Ace Ventura, his agents got him up to $7 million.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They just slapped another zero on $700,000. Just boop, $7 million. All right, so back to Jeff Daniels real quick. His agent actually told him when he accepted it to star in the movie for $50,000, he said it was going to kill his career.
Jeff Daniels thought it was going to kill his career?
Jeff Daniels' agent was telling him, this is going to kill your career, Jeff, don't do it. But he wanted to do the movie, and it worked out.
Yeah.
Well,
Right. So I brought up The Mask and Ace Ventura, right?
Yeah.
Jim Carrey had 3 movies go #1 in the box office in a row, and it was those 3 movies.
Okay.
You guys know how Jim Carrey has his tooth chipped in the movie?
Yeah.
He actually, that was real. In real life, he had his tooth chipped years back, and then he just had the cap removed for the movie, just to seem like more of a dipshit.
I heard about that. That's great.
Hey, he's committed. Oscars, like, where was the recognition, back in 1994 for his dedication to acting? Let's see here. So, like, in the movie, we know that their ultimate goal, right, is to go to Aspen, Colorado. But filming in Aspen wasn't possible because the town wanted too much money. So they actually filmed everything in just other cities around Colorado.
Yeah.
And the hotel that you see where the guys stay at towards the end of the movie, it's actually the hotel where The Shining takes place. And this is crazy.
Wow.
This is crazy. So Jim Carrey, like, wanted to stay in the infamous room 217 in The Shining. Like, in the hotel. He's like, he demanded to stay there for a night while they were filming. 3 hours into his sleep or whatever, he woke up, left the fucking hotel, said, I'm never coming back, and apparently he won't talk to anyone about, like, what he saw in that room.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that weird?
Jeez. That is pretty weird.
Come on, Jim. Share your story. What the hell?
Yeah, for real. Like, man. Scary shit. Back on the lighter side, though, so Jeff Daniels once was at a golf outing, and he was playing with Clint Eastwood, right? And Clint Eastwood told him that he had just seen the movie, and Jeff Daniels was like, oh, great, Clint Eastwood's going to tell me my movie sucked. Turns out Eastwood loved it, or liked it, and he told Jeff Daniels that the scene in the bathroom where he's taking a crap in a toilet that won't flush, that happened to Clint Eastwood in real life once.
You're just dropping a hot duke, and you got a hot date out there.
Come on, stuff like that doesn't happen to Clint Eastwood. What are you talking about?
He's just like flicking the handle, he's like, oh no. Classic. That's never happened to any of us, right? In this room here?
No.
Good.
No.
Keep it that way.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Toilet. But
All right, so I'm going to keep rolling through the trivia here. All this stuff now is plot related. So Lloyd Christmas's hair, you guys know he has that bowl cut. It's horrible.
Yeah.
They modeled it after the Three Stooges guy's haircut, Mo.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because the Farrelly brothers actually went on to direct a Three Stooges movie that came out like 8 years ago, if you guys remember.
Never saw it.
It was stupid.
I do like the old Three Stooges, not cartoon, the old show, though. Black and white. They're hilarious. They're great.
Yeah,
just
those are always good.
purely slapstick.
Harry, the names Harry and Lloyd are actually based on like an old silent comedy star. So they took that from old comedy as well. And the guy's name was Harold Lloyd.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
You know the part where they do the most annoying sound in the world in the car?
Yes.
Not in the script. Totally ad-libbed by Jim Carrey on the spot.
There was a bunch of ad-libs. I was doing a little research. Like, he was doing a lot. Like,
it makes
even,
sense.
like, the moon landing.
Yeah, I was just about to bring
Landed
that
on the
up.
moon.
Yeah, he's like walking by that picture. He's like, we landed on the moon? That's great. And that picture actually is still at that hotel. The Shining Hotel. That picture is still there in that bar. The rat poison, remember, that they gave Mental when they killed him?
Yeah.
Instead of giving him his ulcer pills, those were just Smarties.
Okay.
So
Wait, I thought that was actually rat poison,
those are
bro.
some tasty rat poison. Very tasty. So remember when Lloyd this is the only smart thing he does in the movie, right? He scams Seabass, gets them to pay his bill, right? Seabass pays the bill. And in the script, too, remember, he tells them, like, to go the other direction, so he fools them that way, too.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I saw that in a movie. That's what he tells Harry. That's how he got the idea. Well, that movie
Yeah.
is called Something Wild. It came out in 1986, and the guy who pulled that scam was Jeff Daniels, the guy who plays Harry in Dumb and Dumber.
Real Easter egg, huh?
Yeah. It's kind of cool.
That's funny. Yeah, nice.
I kind of want to watch that movie, Something Wild, because I know, like, Jim Carrey says, like, oh, they kill him. Like, they catch up to him, they kill Jeff Daniels. So I, like, kind of want to see that movie. So here, we were talking about this earlier, not on air, but Mel Gibson was supposed to be in Dumb and Dumber at the end, and he was supposed to be the husband of Mary Swanson.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's just so goofy. So he was just going to play himself, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And they wanted him to do it just because they wanted, like... He was a big Hollywood heartthrob at the time for the ladies, I guess. So they just wanted him in there because it was someone Lloyd could never compete with.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, you guys want to talk about the alternate endings now? Because this is my last little bit of trivia.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
let's do it.
remember how it ends in the movie? The bus of the hot girls goes by and they're like, hey, like, we need some tanning guys to, like, rub us down. And they say no.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Jim Carrey refused to shoot an alternate ending where they get on the bus. Because he's like, no, like, I won't do it.
Where they actually get on the bus?
Yeah, because like the directors were like, let's give them a happy ending. Let's give these guys a break or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, they're Dumb and Dumber. Like they're not getting on the bus. So another alternate ending scene was filmed. This one was actually filmed, and it's where Barney the bellman, the guy that was like their butler at the hotel, he offers them a job babysitting his grandson, who turns out to be the blind kid that they sold the parakeet to in the beginning. The dead parakeet.
That's just a stretch.
They filmed it.
Silly.
It's out there. If you want to see it, you can find it on YouTube probably. So the ending we all read in the screenplay, though, I'll bring this up real quick. The same guy who just offered them the job, like the butler guy,
Barney,
he offers them in the screenplay a job to work at the hotel twice a week in exchange for having like a free room there.
Right.
And of course they turn it down. Real quick. So in the movie too, they were supposed to have another subplot where Mary's kidnapped husband was supposed to be like kept in a wooden shipping crate, but they cut that out. Makes sense. And then real quick, so Dumb and Dumber 2, the sequel, which they made in 2014 with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, the whole plot is like Lloyd checks himself into a mental hospital, which he stays there for like 20 plus years, because it's like he checks in because he can't handle Mary Swanson not like taking him. But in the movie, it's like, no, it was just a prank. Yeah, he was just pranking Harry for 20 years.
I've never watched this movie, and like I remember seeing the ads, like, oh yeah, it looks pretty funny, but I've just heard so much bad news about it.
I've never seen it either, and I probably won't ever watch it, just because I know it's not going to be good.
I saw it in theater.
And?
I mean, it was...
I like the way you said that. That was so down.
That's the only...
I saw it.
Yeah, that's the only time I've seen it. I haven't seen it since. I mean, Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber Part 2, I mean, there's funny parts, but, I mean, overall, it can't compete with the original.
No.
Yeah. That's all I got to say
and
about
it's bullshit that they keep doing this. They just take an idea that we like, that we're familiar with.
They milk it.
And they milk it, and they'll pump it out until we fucking die.
Just keep making money, man.
Yeah.
The Fool is one of the oldest character archetypes in storytelling. The Fool may be found in nearly every type of story and is utilized mainly as the comic relief dating back to Shakespeare and probably longer than that.
Harry and Lloyd are fools. That's for sure.
In my opinion, Dumb and Dumber is comedy in its purest form because the Farrelly brothers squish the hero on a journey and fool archetypes together within Lloyd and Harry's characters. In simpler terms, Lloyd and Harry are both the fools and heroes of this particular story. Anti-heroes, if you will.
Either they have to be anti-heroes. They sold a blind kid a dead bird.
And another area they excel in is the comedic technique of perception, which we'll get to later. Now, writing in any form is not easy. Comedy specifically has typically been identified as the most difficult to write because it's entirely subjective. What one person finds funny, someone else may not. And on a grander scale, comedies don't normally sell well in other countries because the jokes just don't land as intended because of differences in language and culture, for a few examples.
But this movie did well internationally just because they're so goofy. I feel like just because like Jim Carrey, the way he acted, the way they act, it doesn't really matter what they're saying. It's just kind of funny.
And on the other hand, horror and action films, no matter where they are made, are usually universally accepted and successful among differing cultures. All right, cool. I just wanted to get like a little preface of that out of the way. So now let's talk about the major differences we found
right there. I liked it.
while reading the script and watching the film. If you've listened to other episodes we've done on comedies, you'll know we typically find a common trend with every one. The script is utilized as a foundation. Scenes and dialogue are probably rewritten or improvised when shot. We tried to put all of these in order as best we could. Numero uno. This is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. This is when Lloyd has noticed that Mary drops her briefcase in the airport.
The beginning is just so funny. Like everything leading up to this too, when he's like pretending to be the passenger in the limo, but he's really the driver. Like that. Oh, it's so funny. And reading that too, like when they talk about how he like climbed up to the front.
Yeah,
it was awesome. It's just so funny.
So Mary drops her briefcase, and this is when Lloyd crashes in the limo. He gets out. He gets the briefcase, runs through the airport, and he shows his identification to just a guy working at the terminal. And he says that line.
Sir, it's like, sir, you can't go in there.
Yeah, and he says that line like, it's okay, I'm a limo driver. And then he runs through, the tunnel and falls out onto the runway. That part was not in the screenplay at all. So I'm interested to figure out like how that came into play later on.
Because it's great.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bryan.
They hit you with they bring that joke back into play. This wasn't in the screenplay at all. Just in the movie, how he's like, "Oh, Lloyd, you got fired again." He's like, "Yeah, I fell off another terminal again." Jeez, I can't even say that word. So it's like, this happened previously.
Yeah. That's right. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good thing they added that in the movie, because in the screenplay it just says that he just watched Mary's plane take off while he just held the briefcase.
Right.
And then he just walked back to his car, got a ticket, got fired.
Yeah.
So then we pick up when they're both fired and they go back to their apartment, right? And there's the scene where I think the bad guys knock on their door, right? But they think it's like debt collectors or like college kids like asking for money or something.
The gas bill or something.
Yeah, the gas bill. So they dip out the fire escape.
Yeah.
And they go to unemployment. In the screenplay here, they go to unemployment. Where do they go in the movie? Where do they go?
They just like go out to hunt for jobs, and then that's where they do the joke. He's like, "Yeah, if you want to work 40 hours a week," like,
right?
They're complaining about working 40 hours a week.
So in the movie, it just kind of continues on. But in the screenplay, they go to this unemployment office, right? And there's this absolutely hilarious scene, and it starts with them rolling up in the shag wagon or whatever you want to call it, the sheepdog thing. And Lloyd gets out of the car. They park next to a fire hydrant. And Lloyd just takes someone's garbage can and covers the fire hydrant. Like, he just flips the garbage can upside down, covers the fire hydrant, and then they just walk inside the building.
which is stupid, but maybe considered a smart move.
I thought it was really funny. I mean, that's something like I would love to see someone do that in real life.
Yeah, I know.
Why is that garbage can upside down right there? So they go inside, and this guy that's the unemployment worker, you can tell he's just fed up with these guys. Like, they've been in many times, and he's telling them, he's like, "You guys are unemployable.
Yeah.
You're the worst." And they're like, "What do you mean?" Like, and he brings up how, like, at their last job, they missed work, and he's like, and they're telling him, "We only missed a couple days because of like a blizzard or something. That's why they didn't go to work, because of a blizzard."
Yeah.
And the guy just yells at them. He's like, "You guys were snowplow drivers."
That part was amazing. I thought that was awesome.
It was the hardest I laughed in the whole script, and it wasn't in the movie.
It was just great.
Yeah, and then they just get kicked out of the office after, because the guy is just so pissed off.
Yeah.
And then we find out that they want to go to Aspen, right? So they sell their bird to the blind kid. They pack up and they go, right? And the next point we want to bring up is just when they're at that diner with Seabass.
So they're at the diner, and you have the whole interaction between Seabass and the two guys. And this is what I found out in the screenplay versus the movie, which is more of like a funny aspect. When Harry knocks over the salt, and Lloyd's like, "Oh, that's bad luck, man. You got to throw it over your right shoulder."
Yeah.
In the screenplay, he just like shakes them, and it gets like salt in his hair, in the Seabass's hair. But in the movie, he throws the whole shaker.
Yeah.
He hums it over his
just
shoulder.
like excessively more funny for just getting nailed with just a glass shaker rather than just like the salt being shaken on top of you. It's more of a reason for Seabass to get angry.
No.
A big Luke on his bird.
No, yeah, totally. It is a minor detail, but it is somewhat important. And I wanted to bring it up, another thing, because I can't remember in the movie, but I remember this detail in the screenplay that Seabass was wearing a hat that said "Wine 'em, dine 'em, and 69 'em." Was he wearing that hat in the movie? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
It's just like, okay.
That's just so specific, yeah. They must have saw that hat at like a trucker station once and were like, "All right, perfect. That's the one."
It's like, oh, true gentleman here. Watch out.
So we know that then they fake out Seabass, right? They escape the diner without having to pay their bill. They keep traveling west, right? They keep wanting to going to Aspen. And in the screenplay, they make a few stops. And there was this kind of funny moment where in the screenplay, they go to a McDonald's. They pay for their meal in the drive-thru, but then they just take off without getting their food.
Yeah.
And they just don't even, like, realize it at all. And, like, Lloyd brings it up in the car. He's like, "Harry, like, didn't you forget something back at McDonald's?" And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "My change."
Yeah.
So he just
Like,
gives them
this part was
change.
just
They
so
don't eat the food.
dumb.
They completely forget about the food. They're idiots. If it was in the movie, it probably would have worked, but
I thought it was pretty
Yeah.
stupid.
it was unnecessary.
It was added. Like, yeah, I agree. They decided to opt out.
Well,
not
yeah,
put it in.
we just had enough
Extra.
of those moments already. Where
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, this one doesn't
Yeah,
need to be
yeah,
there.
true.
And then we get another scene. We're going to be fast forwarding pretty much like throughout these events here. The next scene takes place in the movie when Harry and Lloyd stop at a motel, and it's like that honeymoon place where they're sitting in the heart-shaped jacuzzi, right? And
It looks comfortable. It looks pretty comfortable.
and this is now when it's known that JP, Shay, and Mental, the two goons that are working for Andre that have abducted Mary's husband, they're tracking Harry and Lloyd. So they track them to this motel, and that's also the scene when Mental punches that guy through the telephone box.
The booth,
right?
the telephone booth.
Yeah. But we also get an additional scene here because if you remember in the movie, Harry explicitly says he's talking about how much money he spent on his car, and he says that the alarm for his car alone spent $200. So we get this part where Mental and Shay are like trying to break into their car to find the briefcase, or
just clues of who they are.
Yeah, or just clues or anything. And that's when the car the car's alarm, we learn, is just like a dog barking. And
aggressively.
Yeah, and the guys think that there's a dog in there. They don't.
So he pulls out his gun. He's like, "Where's the dog? Where's the damn dog?"
I mean, that part was kind of silly, but
they run away too because they get too scared because the dog barking was that like loud and scary.
But while we're talking about Mental and Shay, like I said earlier about the Farrelly brothers using the comedic tool of perception at their disposal, I want to mention here, because Mental, Shay, and Andre, the bad guys, right? They all think that Lloyd and Harry are trained in whatever type of profession, whether it's like martial arts, whatever. They think they're really smart people.
Who are these guys working for?
Yeah, like they're trying to wreak havoc on their plan of getting the money. And I mean, the whole time they just have no idea that they have no idea that Harry and Lloyd are both schmucks who are simply just driving across the country to turn Mary's briefcase because Lloyd is in love with her.
Yeah, and for 2/3 of the movie, they have no idea that they even have a bunch of money in their briefcase.
Right, exactly.
Didn't you guys have like thoughts of what other movies kind of had that same idea of bad guys thinking?
The one that parallels the most is Pineapple Express, right? Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
Because Dale Denton, they think Dale Denton's like a hitman, but...
Yeah, he's just a process server with all of the costumes in his trunk.
Who is this Dale Denton guy?
Other movies I thought of were Army of Darkness. Like, the bad guys in that one don't feel like... They don't think that the main character is, like, a hero, I guess. It's like the townspeople think he's, like, the shit, but in reality he's just an idiot.
Yeah.
And then The Black Knight with Martin Lawrence, because he gets sent back in time, and they think he's, like... They think he's, like, this awesome warrior, but he's just an idiot.
You could think of the Awesome Warrior as Gulliver's Travels just came into my mind.
Oh, yeah, that one, too.
That one can work.
Yeah, because he's like a giant, and they think he's really special, but he's just an idiot. He's just Jack Black.
So as they journey across the country, heading to Aspen, in the movie we have the fantasy at the time when Lloyd's driving and he's like thinking about Mary, he's like falling in love.
Yeah.
And so I'll touch base in the movie how it goes. It's like originally them, like he's at like a family party, like cracking jokes, making everybody laugh. He goes to
farts fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like farts fire, does that little joke. Then they go out to eat to the restaurant, and it's like one of the waiters just caressing Mary, and he gets up and just like fights in. A really goofy fight scene.
That scene is amazing.
He rips the cook's heart out. He just rips it out, and it's like beating in his hand. And then he puts it in a doggy bag and hands it to him.
Yeah. That's a great
I love that scene.
The movements that Jim Carrey does in like the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's classic.
It's classic. That part had to be all improv too.
Yeah. Because that was not in the screenplay at all whatsoeher.
Yeah, that's why he made $7 million.
I didn't finish my thought. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
That's the part that lacks from the screenplay.
Yeah, in the screenplay it's really quick. He just has like a quick little like a normal person fantasy, and then a truck like honks because he's swerving lanes.
Right.
And then he gets back to driving normally.
Again, like just more of like improvisational stuff. The scene when so Harry and Lloyd have now picked up Mental because he's acting like his car's broken down on the side of the road.
Yep, and it's burger time.
Yeah, so they throw him in the car. They go to Dante's Inferno, and this is when they're talking about like eating hot peppers and stuff. And Mental just says, "Hey, why don't you guys stop being a bunch of pussies and just both eat at the same time?"
Yeah, because he can't stand him. He wants to watch them be in pain.
Yeah, so they both eat them. In the movie, they both eat them. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's not so bad, not so bad." And then all of a sudden, it just hits them, and that's when they start squirting mustard and ketchup like all over their tongues,
just into their mouths.
Yeah, again,
Harry, it works.
Yeah, I want to know how these things like come about. Like,
that
it must just spur the moment.
That
but
had
I mean,
to be just all Jim Carrey.
Like again, like that's a part that doesn't exist in the screenplay, but that foundation of the scene does, and the actors just bring their creative side to it. Which also relatively brings me to another perception example that I have. so they kill Mental on accident, right? They accidentally give him the
rat poison.
The rat poison, right?
He was going to give them the rat poison.
Yeah. So the cops like show up. They're trying to figure out what happened at the scene. The waitresses mentioned that there were 2 other guys that were at the restaurant with them. They've left, so now they're trying to figure out who these other 2 guys are and what they're all about. So the cops like set up a roadblock because they understand they're going west towards Colorado. They set it up at like the state line, and Lloyd is like messing around with Harry, misses the exit, accidentally goes east. So they're already going back towards Rhode Island.
Home.
Yeah. Going the wrong way. And the cops are like, yo, like who are these guys? They must have got tipped that we were here. How are they evading us? All this stuff. And it's just like, well, no, Lloyd's just an idiot and went the wrong way.
Yeah. It's funny how that works out. I mean, they do a really good job of writing that and then filming it in the movie because it works. It's funny. Something I'll bring up, a perception example I'm thinking of in the movie where it's just like altered perception is, remember when they get pulled over and the cop just is like, give me that beer.
Oh, yeah, that too, yeah.
Just because he's like a hardo cop and he's like, give me that beer. Like, I'm cool. And he drinks pee.
It's just like a random little fun fact. I don't know that actor's name, but originally he was supposed to play Harry.
Really?
I forgot his name, but I mean,
he's a comedian.
You would recognize him if you saw him.
Yeah. I just want to bring that up real quick.
I always liked that. He's usually pretty good in every movie he's in. He's just a goofy ass.
He's in the first one. It's Employee of the Month.
Oh, yeah.
With
Dane Cook.
One of the box workers.
All right, so now we're at the point in the movie where Harry and Lloyd get in a fight, right? Because Lloyd drove the wrong direction, and they're like, they don't have enough money for gas. They're kind of screwed. So Harry just says he's going to walk back to Rhode Island. Meanwhile, Jim Carrey drives off in the other direction. We don't know what he's doing. And he comes back, though, on this little dinky motorbike. And he's like, check out my wheels, man. Like, I made a sweet trade with this kid.
Yeah.
And Harry obviously loves it. And they hop on the bike together.
They miss high fives.
And they go to Aspen, right? Yeah, they miss high fives. In the screenplay, there's no little bike. Brian, do you remember what it is?
No, it's no little bike. It's far from little. Lloyd.
It is.
Lloyd manages to find I don't know where he picked it up from, but it's a hearse, like the things that you put caskets in the back of.
Yeah, he traded it to like an old man who wanted the sheepdog car.
It had a casket in there. I don't know if there was a body.
There was a casket in there, yeah.
They didn't open it to check.
I don't think it was filled, but another comedy part that happens in the screenplay, which I laughed, was so as they're driving, as you know, funeral processions, the hearse is the lead, and everyone follows behind.
Right.
Somehow they cut in front of the original one of an actual recession that's happening.
Yeah, they just stumble upon.
They take over. They just take over this, and everyone starts following them. And
instead of the real car, everyone's following Harry and Lloyd.
Instead of the real one, and they end up like, oh, we got to make more room. Let's dump the casket to make just get rid of the weight, and it shows they give it from the sight of the people that have the deceased loved one, and they see them dumping this casket into a dumpster.
Right, and then the old lady was like, she was bitching at her husband like, you cheap ass, you should have paid for a better funeral procession. Just dumping them in a dumpster.
I'm just curious on why they took that part out. Maybe it's just the darkness of it, and they just didn't. I don't know.
I thought it was funny. I prefer the moped, but I mean, I thought that version was funny too, though.
Because they kept the hearse around throughout the rest of the screenplay.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it's even when they had all the money, they didn't get rid of the hearse.
No.
That's funny.
I know, right?
I guess I have here in my notes, you'd think the hearse would be warmer, right, instead of the bike? Because in the movie, they're super cold, and there's the scene where Harry's like, you had 2 pairs of gloves this whole time, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, they're driving to Aspen in the hearse now, right? And they're still really cold because Lloyd turns on the AC because he thinks it's the anti-cold system. And they had it running for over an hour. So they're driving in the cold with the AC
blasting
on high. And I thought that was pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
Because, again, they're just complete bumbling idiots.
And, in the screenplay, no gloves scene. And this is all, basically when they find out the briefcase is filled with money.
Yep. I know before they find the money, though, there's a quick scene I want to mention. They're eating beef. No, they're eating at a restaurant or something, or they're just drinking water.
They're in the hearse.
They're in the hearse, and they want food, but they can't afford any.
Yeah.
And Harry's like, hey, Lloyd, like, I think there's something stuck in your teeth. And he pulls out beef jerky.
Yeah.
And he's like, can I have it? And he's like, get your own, man. And he eats it. It was just so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And this is when they discover the money. So now they have the money. They're
loaded.
They're gonna spend it, but they're gonna give back IOUs. Every penny of it. Yep. They're gonna keep tabs on all the IOUs. So
I love it.
They're only gonna get the bare necessities.
Yeah, so they have the bare necessities. So they check into a ridiculous hotel,
buy the most expensive room.
Yeah, they buy ridiculous clothing,
a Lamborghini,
all this stuff. Yeah, all these cars, whatever. And this is when they find out that Mary Swanson's family is having a benefit for an endangered owl species. So that's when they do the whole montage of them getting dressed in the goofy blue and orange suits, and they show up to the benefit. And fast forward like all the way towards the end, where Harry gets himself a date with Mary instead of getting Lloyd a date with Mary. Right? He accidentally gets himself a date with Mary. He goes back and tells Lloyd, "Okay, I got you a date. You're good. You're in." And Lloyd's like, "All right, time for a little bit of bubbly." And he pops open a bottle of champagne. The cork like flies across the room, kills one of the endangered owls, and after that, this is another like perception thing that we came up with.
Yeah.
Which was Andre, like Shay is like, "Oh my God, like they just killed one of the owls. Like, who are these guys?" And Andre's like, "Look, like these guys are good. They've already taken out Mental. He's one of our best.
They whacked Mental. They whacked the owl.
And now they took out one of our birds. We took out one of their birds, right? Remember Petey? His head fell off.
Yeah.
They're saying we took out one of their birds. Yeah. They're taking out one of our birds. They're sending us a message." And it's just like, no, again, these guys are just stupid as hell.
That'd be pretty wild just to be like a benefit for an endangered species and it just dies like while you're all having a good time. Party's over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't Lloyd have the classic "check please"? Doesn't he say that or something?
Yeah, right after he
check please.
Okay.
So, as we were just talking about, the bad guys in this movie, they really think Harry and Lloyd are like up, like they know what they're doing. They're organized bad guys too, or something. And while Harry's on his like ski date with Mary, and he gets his tongue stuck to like the pole on the ski lift.
Ooh, look, Frost.
Yeah. Well, one of the bad guys, the girl in the movie, apparently is supposed to be aiming a sniper from afar at Harry, and she shoots, but Mary like pulls him out of the way at the last second, and it hits a mime in the background right in the hand. And then he goes like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
And then everyone starts booing him because he talked.
Even though he just got shot.
That part was kind of funny, man.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that.
It was just ridiculous. Like she's pulling his head because his tongue is stuck to the metal.
Right.
And as she gets his tongue off the metal, the bullet flies right by him and just hits a mime. That was pretty funny.
I laughed out loud reading it. I enjoyed it.
You LOL'd?
Yeah, man.
As the kids say.
LMFAO.
Dude, nice.
It's my favorite band. It's my favorite way to respond to anything that I like.
What's your favorite song by LMFAO? Shots?
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. Is that the only one I know? How's it go again? Shots, shots, shots.
I wonder how long it took him to make that song. We just went on a whole tangent.
One of the guys is like 50 and the other guy's like 25. It's weird. They got a weird relationship going on in LMFAO. Are they still popular?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I haven't heard LMFAO in so long.
Oh, man.
All right, so now that we covered that a mime got shot in the screenplay in the hand, let's skip to like the ending here because after that part there were like no differences in the screenplay to the movie. It was exactly the same.
Not much at all.
Yeah, pretty much.
So let's get to the end. You guys remember when the husband of Mary is finally rescued by the cops? Well, in the screenplay, this guy who gets out of the cop car is supposed to be Mel Gibson, right?
Right, yeah.
And he's Mary's husband. I mean, what did you guys think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was just kind of silly.
Because I said earlier they did it just because he was like a star at the time. That was the only reason. But they probably would have had to pay him a lot of money.
Yeah, they probably would have paid him a lot for like a cameo.
For nothing, yeah.
I mean, I just thought it was stupid, you know. Who cares? You don't need that.
Yeah, they just had a random guy play the husband, and it was fine.
And then there was no, in the movie...
Well, we already kind of talked about the alternate endings and stuff earlier, but...
Well, I was just going to say, in the movie... there was no fantasy of Lloyd killing Mary's husband.
Oh, yeah.
He just shoots him down because he's jealous. I think that's really it for as far as like the differences go.
Yeah,
right?
we've covered all the differences. We talked about the alternate endings. I think we're good to move into Brian's Brain Busters.
All right, I'm ready to get busted over here.
What do you got today, Brian?
They're not really like questionable, more of like a situational kind of dealio.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Like some situationals.
Put me in the
so
simulation. Do it.
What's up?
I said put me in the simulation. Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, okay.
Run it.
Okay. So we're gonna be like we'll start out with Lloyd's aspect. So when you're at the gas station and you see Seabass barge in your stall, guy that you stole money or got a free meal out of, and he's ready to beat your ass. What are you thinking? Are you looking to bust him up, or?
I think I'm thinking exactly what Lloyd says. He's like, first I'm gonna rape you, and then I'm gonna kill you. And Lloyd just goes, you think he could do it in the other order?
Oh my god.
Kill me first, please.
I think I would bust his brain.
You said you're gonna bust a prayer.
I would bust his brain, dude.
Yeah. In that situation, you just got to introduce him to Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary. You know, good old right and left hook, and you just hope you get out of there in one piece.
I mean, you just go full animalistic mode, bro. You just put up your dukes and you just try and
or your buddy gets his foot
Give
on
him a
fire.
swirly.
Your buddy has his foot on fire. He has to run to the bathroom and put it out in the toilet, and he just rescues you on accident, just like in the movie.
Well, speaking of the toilet, you let me right into it.
Okay. What a good transition.
Nice.
Well, yeah, just the first day. Like, I know you got the nervous, but little do you know, you got what was it? Was it Pepto Bismol or laxative?
He gave him X-Lax.
Yeah, X-Lax, right?
A whole bottle.
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
Like, how do you explain to someone like you're in their bathroom just bombing it, even though it's gross?
I don't think you would even have to explain to them because they would hear it. I feel like that's just like a violently loud.
I mean, I think
massive poop.
You know, I think I would just go Harry's route. I think he had some really, legitimate excuses that he was just trying to shave and cleaning. He wasn't brushing his teeth. He was cleaning his teeth.
Cleaning my teeth.
I don't know, man. I think that's just you put the toilet seat down and you hope for the best and you just get out of there.
Blame the dog. That's what I think I would do.
Smart.
All right. Well, I mean, that concludes the Brain Busters.
Oh, cool. All right, final thoughts then. Who wants to hit that first?
Yeah, I'll run it.
Do it.
All right, run it.
So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the movie. Like, reading the screenplay, this was one of those where, like, I could picture the movie step by step because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is what's happening. I just mentally picture it. But to bring it to rally back up, some people think it's so dumb. Like, I feel like they pushed the limit, but if they would have made like more jokes that were like dumb, like it definitely would have lost and fell off. Like, they did the perfect amount of like dumbness, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Like, it could have failed. It could have failed for if they were trying too hard to make it like too funny, but
Yeah. Okay.
it worked.
Right on, man.
The slapstick comedy, like, it worked real well. I'm a huge fan. I'll show it to my children.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, I'm a huge fan too. I love the movie. I really enjoyed reading the script, and it's not all just like slapstick, stupid comedy. Like we brought up, like there's these parts with the perception, right? Altering perception, and that's funny. Like how these other people perceive them to be normal people when they're just idiots.
Yeah,
it's funny because in real life, honestly, like just because like you have a title like or a job, people just assume you know exactly what you're doing. But in real life, half the time, people don't even know what the hell they're doing in their job, right? You're just like winging it as you go. So maybe that's just something they were playing on with that. Yeah, just overall, really enjoyed reading it. It's a fun movie to watch. I could watch it any day of the week, twice on Sunday.
2 times. My brief final thoughts, Dumb and Dumber, like I agree with you guys, is easily one of my favorite comedies. I think the screenplay is really good too. And as far as the script is concerned, I think it's a good learning tool to see how comedy works on the page because there's literally jokes packed into every scene.
Yeah.
Like, it's like ridiculous how easily, like, when you read it just sounds so easy. Like, oh, joke there, joke here, cool.
Hard to do, though. Hard
yeah.
to do.
And like I said earlier, writing comedy is not easy. So looking at their successful comedic formula could really be beneficial to someone who wants to learn how to do it. And like Matt said as well, the technique of perception, that's really the biggest takeaway that I have from Dumb and Dumber.
See, now, Drew, have you tried like written like something like that? I know writing comedy is so hard.
Not really. Not really.
Oh, okay.
I'm mainly in like horror, sci-fi right now type stuff, drama, comedy. I don't know, comedy at some point I'll try, but whatever.
Yeah, you just gotta do what comes natural. Writing.
Yeah.
True.
Play to your strengths.
Oh yeah. So we were thinking about what we wanted to do for our next episode, and typically, if you've listened to our episodes, we normally do like comedy, sci-fi, horror, action
Movies
type
we
stuff.
like. Always movies we like, for the most part.
Yeah, we're gonna
Definitely.
we're gonna gravitate a little away for the next episode, and
A blast from the past, if you
We're
will.
gonna go a
We-
Gold Cook classic.
we have like a whole log that we want to do for future stuff, and all of a sudden we were just like, well, what could we do different? So we were talking about old like Disney movie, like Disney Channel movies,
Original movies,
that
yeah.
that
Disney originals, yeah.
that if you're around our age, you watched as a kid, and
Oh, yeah.
you probably loved this movie.
They were hits.
So what is it, guys? What is this little movie called again? I don't remember.
It is titled Smart House, and it features a single dad. Like, what do they like win a contest where they get this like
You know what?
automated like where
Hourly,
I don't even
there's
remember.
a robot.
shell necklaces.
Yeah, they got a robot mom basically who's running the house. Remember, she
Yeah.
like locks the house down. Shit goes down.
Yeah.
They throw a party. I can't wait to watch that part.
I haven't seen this movie since I was probably like 11 years old, so this is gonna be
It's gonna
crazy.
be awesome.
It's gonna be great.
No matter what platform you're using to listen to us, I just want it to be known that we're available on iTunes, Spreaker, and YouTube. So if you like our content, please be sure to follow all of our channels so you can stay in the loop with new episodes. Also, feel free to give us a rating and leave us comments, or send us an email at screenplayjunkie.show@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. Also, if you have any recommendations of screenplays we should read, movies we should watch, or really anything, let us know on any of our platforms. We're always looking for other things to check out. Thank you for listening. We hope you can join us next time.